under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, good evening and welcome to the November 1st, 2021 Board of Selectmen's meeting. On the agenda this evening, we have public service announcements, moment of silence. We have a joint meeting with the Burgess School Committee to interview candidates to fill the vacancy. 6:35, we have a public hearing on fuel storage. We have department heads, water and sewer, town administrators report. We have action items, consideration and possible action on the authorization to submit a staffing for adequate fire and emergency response grant for the Sturbridge Fire Department, consideration and possible action on a hawker and peddler license for Matthew Angel Soto with Trinity Solar. Under old business, we have COVID. We will not be doing Part B. The attorneys for negotiations of the Equestrian Center host, they have formally withdrew their application with the Mass Gaming Commission. We have consideration and possible action on a hawker and peddler. I already read that, didn't I? And I cleaned my glasses. Okay, we also will discuss the Town of Charlton warehouse projects, new business, correspondence, approval of minutes of October 18th, citizens forum, and we have a request for executive session, and we will adjourn. Okay. Any public service announcements, Jamie?
No public service announcements, thank you.
Mary?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for everybody that participated last night on the town common for the Halloween festivities. The Lions Club, the firefighters, the police, they had hot chocolate and cookies for the kids, and it was a nice evening. So thank you for everybody that volunteered.
Okay, Chase?
I have none, thank you.
Ian?
None.
And I have none. Okay, now for those of you at home or probably even here who don't know how the process works for a joint appointment, we are really one committee tonight, the remaining school committee members and the board. We do have 3 candidates. We will interview them. We can make as many nominations as we want, and we will vote. Now, this appointment is only good until the next town election in April. So anyone, including the candidate we pick, will have to run in April. And the election in April will be to fulfill the term until 2023, so that we keep we elect two, and we elect one. Okay, any questions from the school committee or the board? No? Okay, so we do have our first candidate, Jackie.
Yeah, I'll go get her.
I'm just gonna,
Mary?
I mentioned it the last time, but I'll just tell the board members, I'm actually gonna recuse myself because I'm doing a little substitute teaching. You have a need in the schools, so because you oversee the teachers, I just thought that I would not partake in who is gonna be chosen.
Well, they don't really oversee the teachers.
Well, they don't, but I mean, they kind of help determine policy, I think, to a certain
You should have just filed the
extent.
disclosure.
I know, I was erring on the side of caution on this one, but I will say that they're doing a fabulous job in the schools. The teachers, the kids, they're wearing their masks, they're adhering to protocol, but they're also having fun. I'm very, very impressed by the job that the teachers, administration, and students are doing, and parents at Burgess.
Okay, good evening, Jackie. And how do you say your last name? I'm sorry.
It's Cakeley.
Cakeley.
Can you
Okay.
talk into the microphone?
Yep.
You can
Sure.
pull it forward if
Yeah.
you need to. And
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about you? And it's also for the folks at home watch.
Sure, of course. So first of all, thank you for taking the time to meet with me this evening. Really appreciate it. As a longtime resident of Sturbridge, I have always been very committed to the community here. My husband and I have lived here for over 13 years now. And we really love the town. We particularly love Burgess Elementary School and the community that we formed over the years. So we have 2 children. We have a son who's 10 years old, and we have a daughter who's 8 years old. Both of them have been at Burgess since they started school in kindergarten. And it was really around the time that my son was born that I really became more active with the community. I joined the Moms Club of Sturbridge area when my son was just 3 months old, and really found a great support system there, developed a lot of longtime friends who I'm still very close to 10 years later. So after being in the Moms Club for a few years, I took on the role of activities coordinator. So in that capacity, I was tasked with finding activities to put on the monthly calendar, and the Moms Club is very active, so it was like 3 or 4 activities a week I was looking to put on. And that really afforded me the opportunity to see what businesses had to offer, what organizations there were locally, and really found that we have so many things to offer here in Sturbridge, which was great, and was able to share that with all of the families. As my kids got a little bit older, they started going to Sturbridge Cooperative Nursery School, and I joined the board there. So I was the treasurer there for 3 years. And, in my time there, I was able to meet with a lot of different families that I hadn't had the opportunity to meet through the Moms Club. I was able to sit on a committee and then also learn a little bit more about the financial side of things, learning how to create budgets, make sure that the budget is balanced, and just really follow the financials a little bit more closely, which was great. So I stayed as treasurer until my daughter was done at the nursery school. And then kind of at the same time, my son joined the Cub Scouts. So he joined Cub Scouts Pack 161 here in Sturbridge. And I took on a role as den leader. And so I'm still a den leader right now. So I've been doing that for the past 5 years. And then just this past year, also took on the role of Cub Master, who is responsible for planning all of the pack events for the whole Cub Scout pack. So that's been really fun. I've been able to get involved with a lot of different families, interact with the kids a little bit more, which has been nice, and also organize events that the families are able to enjoy, that are educational, but also fun. So at the same time, I was doing a lot with the community, but I also was trying to be very active with Burgess as well. So I would volunteer as much as I was able to. I was a parent volunteer in the classroom for a few years, where I had a weekly time where I would go in, spend time in the classroom, which was nice to be able to see the kids and see how my kids interacted in the school setting. And then, COVID happened, so no more volunteers there. But I was also chaperone for several field trips through Burgess, and then have over the past 2 years become much more active with the PTO. So over the past year, I led 2 successful fundraisers for the PTO, and have been very involved with other activities through the PTO. So the Scholastic Book Fair, the Jogathon, Square One Art, and I've also been a member of the planning committee for the Burgess Bear 5K for the past 4 years since its inception. So all of that kind of shows that I'm not afraid to put the work in. Once I agree to do something, I'm kind of all in on it. From a professional standpoint, my background is physical therapy. So I've worked at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center for the past 18 years. And I initially was a clinician treating patients who were admitted to the hospital. And then about 10 or 11 years ago, I took on the role of safe patient handling clinical coordinator. So in that capacity, I lead a team of 6 clinicians. And we really have 2 focuses. One is equipment evaluation, and it's equipment that's related to how we can safely move patients. And so once my team determines that equipment is needed, it is my job to oversee the purchase and installation of that equipment. So I do have project management experience through my professional job. The other arm of my job is education, and so if we purchase equipment, we have to educate staff on how to use the equipment, so we do that ourselves. But also we're tasked with creating educational opportunities for staff throughout the entire medical center as it relates to patient handling. So through my years at Beth Israel Deaconess, really had the opportunity to interact with a lot of different people, a lot of different types of people with different backgrounds, different educational levels, which has been really wonderful, but also challenged me to communicate at all different levels. In addition, I've sat on several committees at work, and I currently chair 3 committees at work. So really, I think both my personal as well as professional experiences. I can show that I really do have the skills that would require to be a successful member of the Burgess School Committee. So when I think about that, I'm thinking about, I do understand the day-to-day operations of the school. I also have a wide network of friends and acquaintances who have children within the school system. So I feel like that would give me a sense of what is needed and what kind of supports the students would need. And then in terms of skills, I would say that I have very strong, organization skills, strong communication skills, and very dedicated. So if I sign up to do something, I will absolutely follow through and stay committed. And it really just, if given the opportunity, I would really look forward to serving the school in this capacity.
Okay, thank you. Questions from either board?
I'll start. Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for coming in. My question for you is, tell me about some attributes of a successful school committee member.
Can I interrupt 1 second?
Sure.
Can we just get the names?
Oh, sure.
For the,
Sure, Kristen too.
sorry, thank you. And,
Samantha Kabinski.
okay?
Mary Weser. Karen Koval.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that's okay. Sure. So I think in terms of being a successful school committee member, certainly being open to hearing all sides of an argument, being able to actively listen, stay calm, and have an engaging discussion, as well as always having the best welfare of the students in mind.
Hi, Jackie.
Hi.
Thank you for coming. My question for you would be, what would be your priorities for the district for this year, and why and how would you select these issues?
So, that's an interesting question. I would have to say that I'm not coming into this with any sort of agenda at this point. I think, I want what's best for the school and what's best for the students, and I think I really would need to see what sort of issues are being brought to the committee at this point, and then try to make informed decisions about that. So I don't really have, off the bat, anything that I'm trying to achieve.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So whether appointed or not tonight, do you see yourself running for the seat in the upcoming election in April?
So I had thought about that, and at this point I would be leaning towards yes, that whether appointed or not, I think I probably will pursue that. I haven't made a final decision on it, but that's the way I'd been leaning.
Thank you for coming.
Okay.
Is there a particular issue that motivated you to put your name in for this position?
Not a particular issue, I wouldn't say. I would say that I've always been interested in being more involved in local government and trying to become more involved with Burgess. I think, my kids are getting a little bit older now, so that's giving me a little bit more time to be able to dedicate to some other different places, basically. In addition, my husband, now with COVID, has transitioned to working from home, and so he used to not get home until very late in the evening, 6:30, 7 o'clock, which would make it very challenging for me to participate, in anything like the school committee. But now that he's home, I can leave the kids at home and have more options for what I can become involved with.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone up here? Ian?
Yeah, Mary kind of covered it, but I was going to ask if you intended to run before this. Had you thought about, is this something you thought about doing, and then this opportunity came up? And
yes, actually, I had very recently been thinking about, maybe I want to get involved with the school committee, and I'd probably been thinking about it for a period of a few months, and then saw it posted that there was an opening, and so thought, maybe this is the time, this is the opportunity to put my name out there.
Good. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else?
What type of physical therapy? I'm just curious. It's nothing really to do.
I'm sorry.
I said, what type of physical
Oh,
therapy?
what type of physical therapy? Sorry.
No, it's okay, I'm
So I was an acute care physical therapist, so working with patients who were admitted to the hospital. Beth Israel Deaconess, we see all types of patients. So when I was doing patient care, I rotated through most of the floors. So I would see patients on medical floors, surgical floors, patients with joint replacements, patients who had open heart surgery.
A lot of ground.
Intensive care, yeah. So I did patient care for many, many years. So I did cover a lot of ground.
Okay, Chase, do you have any?
I just, really briefly, just your view of Burgess.
I mean, I love Burgess.
Good.
Yeah, I love Burgess. I love the teachers. I think they do a great job. I really do. We've been very happy there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, looking at the budget at Burgess, do you feel it's adequate, inadequate, or?
So I have to be very honest and say that I have not reviewed the Burgess budget, so I don't feel prepared to answer that question right at this moment.
Okay, thank you. Most people aren't. We just vote. Now, if it was a street light, there'd be a lot of budget numbers. Okay, thank you. Do you have anything you want to ask any of us?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Whitney? I know it's always tough to decide alphabetical order.
Because of the budget.
My last name.
The subs. I'll tell you later. Not important.
How's it
Hey,
going?
good evening.
Good morning, or good evening, yeah. How are you doing?
Okay, could you, for us and the people at home, give us a little
Sure.
information, please?
Sure. My name is Whitney Goodwin. I live in Sturbridge. I'm the mother of 2 children who are at Burgess as well. I'm currently also work for the Worcester Public Schools. I'm the College and Career Readiness Liaison for the district. I have been in education for the past about 15 years. Before I had my current job, I was a guidance counselor for Westwood High School, and then moved to Worcester Technical High School. So I've been a guidance counselor for about 10 years, and have a little bit of other experience as a camp counselor and in other educational areas in higher education as well. It's just a little bit about me.
Okay, questions? School committee?
Sure. Hi.
Hi. Thank you for coming.
Sure.
My question for you is, I'd like to hear about some attributes of a successful school committee member in your opinion.
Sure. So I think some attributes that would be, for somebody I would look for in a school committee member is somebody who asks a lot of questions, somebody who knows policies and procedures and is willing to learn about those in a school district, willing to have conversations with community members, very communicative to the principal and to the faculty, just so you can start learning about things that are going on in the community, but also in the school as well. So somebody who can communicate, somebody who is willing to be knowledgeable about procedures, and also just willing to ask a lot of questions and look at some issues that may be of concern or growth in the area. Sure.
Hi, Whitney.
Hey.
So my question for you would be, what would be your priorities for the district going forward with this year, and why and how would you select those issues?
That's a good question. I think the biggest thing, well, and this is because I'm a guidance counselor too, but I think the biggest thing for me in the district is just making sure that our kids are kind of catching up to where they should be socially, emotionally, and educationally as well. I think we've seen kind of students who are they haven't, they've missed out on some of the things that they typically would have had in a regular year. So I think it's really important that we look at what students may have missed, but also where do they need to grow in those areas, and how can we bring in programs, how can we get creative into, with our teachers and the staff that we already have to help students grow in some of those areas. So I think that would be kind of what I would like to see a focus on. So that would be kind of one of my main goals.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hi.
Oh, hi. How's it going? What?
So whether appointed tonight or not, do you intend to run for this seat in the upcoming election in April?
Yes, that's something that I intend to do if I'm not appointed tonight. Being on the school committee is something that I've been very interested in for a while, and now that my kids are a little bit more self-sufficient, I think now is a good time to start getting involved in the community. And this is something that I'm very passionate about, is education. It's my career, but it's something that I've always been interested in. So this is kind of a perfect opportunity for me to kind of give back to the community as well.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Hi.
Thank you. You touched on this a little bit, but is there a particular issue that motivated you to run for this?
I don't know if there's one particular issue in general. For me, education is just so important in our community, and making sure that kids are equipped and prepared to be successful later on in life. And I think it really starts with elementary school, because I work in a high school, so I see kind of where they get to go. But elementary is kind of where these kids start and where they grow. So I do have a big passion for helping our community in particular grow, just because this is where I live and where I want my kids to grow up as well. Mm-hmm.
You covered my question already. So.
I know. Okay. You can always count on the school committee members to have great questions. I just have a small question. Do you feel the budget at Burgess is adequate, inadequate, or?
I mean, I never feel like education has an adequate budget, because I work in education and I always want more money. But, and I think teachers should be paid a lot, but I always think we can get creative with a budget, well, with grants and asking for more money too. So, if that's something that I don't feel like we have enough, working with the community, working with the principal to find ways we can increase that budget, whether it's through grants or just various opportunities, is something that we can definitely look into. So, yeah, I think if it's not an adequate amount, then we can always look at other funding as well.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anything else from either board? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it.
Debate and have to do a public.
That's very long.
I thought maybe Jamie would ask some question you always wanted to answer.
If I could ask the school committee members if you can talk into the microphone a little bit, please. Thank you.
Hi.
Okay, good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, could you please explain to us and the people at home, that's what the mic is actually for, a little bit about yourself and why you want the position?
Okay, my name is Jenna Ventitulo. I've lived in Sturbridge for 6 years. I grew up in a small town in upstate New York that's very similar to Sturbridge. I have 2 little boys at Burgess. They're 5 and 7. I put myself through college twice. The first time I did 7 years in law enforcement, and then I am currently a nurse in an ER. So my entire life has been devoted to public service and public safety. I'm also on the Tantascwa lacrosse board. I serve as a player advocate. I've always been involved in the community no matter where I've lived. My kids are involved in sports. I think I'd be an asset to the school committee because vested in the school. My kids are going to be at Burgess for quite some time. I have a good relationship with the community, and I think I'm relatable. You know, I work full-time. I'm a mother to 2 kids. I have a house to take care of, a husband at home, so I think a lot of moms could see themselves in me, so.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for coming. My question for you is, tell me about some attributes of a successful school committee member.
I think they need to be reliable, not only making themselves accessible at all the meetings. They need to know when tough decisions need to be made. I know not all decisions are popular in the community, but they have to have the best interest of the students and the staff and the budget in mind. I also think being responsive when the community sends you an email, calls you, asks for your input, or to recognize a situation in the school. I think it's important for them to respond, whether it's through email or just an acknowledgement at a meeting. And I also think you need tough skin. You need to know that your decisions might not be popular at the time, but with the work of the committee together, you're doing what's best for everybody.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Hi, Jenna, thank you for coming. My question for you would be, what would be priorities for the district for this year, and why would you select these certain issues?
I think our top priority would be to catch kids up, both academically and socially and emotionally. I mean, no matter what your stance with COVID, everyone in the school has been affected. So I think the kids who were behind before are probably more behind, and we really need to focus resources on getting them caught up. And I think probably all kids could benefit from some type of emotional and social support.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi.
So whether appointed tonight or not, do you intend to run in the upcoming election in April?
April? Yes, definitely. Hi.
Hi, thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
Is there a particular issue that motivated you to run this position?
There's probably a whole slew of issues, but I would say my biggest motivation are my kids. Their whole world was turned upside down for the past 2 years, and I'm hoping to try to help bring back, I don't want a new normal, I want just their regular sense of normalcy again, no matter how long it takes to get there. I think eventually we will. So I'd like to make some decisions, or help make decisions with the team as far as that goes. The best way to get there, I think. So.
Was there any particular catalyst that made you want to run? You were intending to anyway. So.
Maybe watching too much news. So I'm a nurse in the ER. I'm a huge patient advocate, and I am a huge advocate for my kids. So I think when decisions are made, broad decisions are made without thinking about individual towns and local boards and how it will affect people locally, I think I wanted to make sure I got involved so I could help make positive changes.
Thank you.
I'm just going to give you a little plug here. Is it true you saved somebody's life at Burgess?
I did, yes. At a flag football game, I saved a gentleman who was in his vehicle in the playground. So I did CPR for quite some time before the police came and rescue came.
Congratulations.
Still alive.
It's awesome.
Okay, how familiar are you with the budget?
I've looked over some of the budget. I've looked over where some of the money is going. I've been to some of the school committee meetings, and I've seen where they've recommended allocating some money. I know there are probably different decisions I would make with some of the extra money we have, because to me, one of the biggest things I'd like to see are focusing on math and reading and getting those kids caught up and doing some STEM work. So I don't know if that answers your question. I've looked at the Burgess budget in particular.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, not so much like the town. And
No,
school
budget.
That's all you guys.
Don't touch the town.
No, I don't want to.
That's too big. Offhand, though, do you know what the Burgess budget is?
I don't. I was looking more specifically at teachers. I know, it's 4.3 for the teachers. I was, just different categories of different parts of the budget.
Okay, it's 12.3 million.
So we do spend good money on teachers.
Well, that encompasses everything.
Right.
Yeah.
They well
Do
deserve
you feel it's adequate or inadequate, or you talk about reallocating?
I just know that we've received a lot of extra money in the past 18 months, 12 months or so. I think it's important to make sure our teachers are very happy, so that way we have happy kids. I think we need to work with the teachers and find out exactly what they need and maybe where they think some more money could be spent, because they're the ones who are in the school every day, and they're the ones who are, boots on the ground type, we know where these shortages are, let's address it here. So I think if we developed maybe a closer relationship with some of the staff to figure that out. I feel like there's always some places you can move money around, but I think it's probably pretty adequate. I think maybe a little bit more for some of our recreational fields would be helpful, but that's just a personal bias.
Let's not touch
We're
that
done.
topic.
We're done with that. We're done with that right now. We're not doing that.
Okay, anything else from the boards?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
It's not allergies.
No, I think I just have a cold. I've got a double mask, though, so I don't want to
Oh, that's
breathe
okay.
on anybody. Like I did test, though. I tested negative.
Yeah, no, we trust you.
Yeah.
I'm very neurotic, so true.
Really?
Mary hasn't figured it out over the years.
6:33.
I know.
We've been working together a while. Okay, so the floor is open up for nominations.
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Jenna Ventatula.
Okay, are there any other nominations?
I'd like to second that motion.
Oh, I'm sorry, Samantha. Okay, any other nominations?
I will nominate Whitney Goodwin.
Is there a second to that?
I nominate Jackie.
I still can't. Okay, is there a second to that? I'll second that. Okay, now.
Who seconded Ms. Goodwin?
I did.
Mary. Now, there can't be any more because there aren't any more candidates.
So this raises an interesting question at this moment, doesn't it?
Well, we'll see how the votes go.
I guess.
Okay, let me just write this down.
3 great candidates, so.
Well, that's it.
All 3 are just
I
first.
mean, we've had times when we're lucky we get one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how Mary got it. Well, look how well that worked out.
She's here.
Okay, let's see. All those in favor of Jenna?
Keep your hands up,
Okay,
please.
that's
Are we voting for everybody?
4. What?
It does it, doesn't it? Doesn't it do it?
4.
Mary's not blood voting.
Yeah, but there's still,
Well, 4 of you can vote for one.
there's still 4.
I mean, if there's a tie, I'll file a disclosure later, and
Yeah,
I don't.
okay, 4.
Chase.
Okay, how many in favor of Whitney? 2. How many in favor of Jackie?
2 for Jackie.
2. Okay, it looks like Jenna has it at 4 votes.
Okay, let me go get the can.
Please. Okay, what's this? They all have a lot to offer the community,
They do.
No, it's
even in other spots.
goodness.
Yeah,
Well, everyone will have to make another decision in April.
yeah. I think there's 3 in April. The 2 regular and this one, so it's,
Yeah, I didn't look at, I know this one's not up till
Oh, when-
2023.
But still, we'll have to,
This one's up, not 2023.
No, this one just goes till the next
Oh,
election.
Gotcha.
And then whoever wins the election finishes the term.
Makes sense.
Okay, ladies, thank you all, and you all 3 have a lot to offer the community. And the vote turned out 4 votes for Jenna, 2 for Whitney, and 2 for Jackie. Okay, I'm sure it was a tough decision on everybody's part.
you mind if I just say something?
No.
I just want to thank all of you. I mean, this community is so lucky to have 3 candidates as qualified and as good as you just did, because all 3 of you hit home runs, and thank you.
I don't think you heard what I said. I did abstain because I started subbing, and I know you determine the budget for teachers and subs and that type of thing, and I just wanted to stay away from that. I thought somebody might say, well, sub salary, so I just avoided it, but I certainly will vote in April.
May I say something, Mary?
Yes.
I just wanted to thank all 3 of you for coming, and I'm hopeful that all 3 of you will run in April as well.
Yes. So we can get the vote out. It's always nice to have contests.
No, it's not.
No, I know. Except when you're an incumbent running. Okay, thank you, ladies. And Jenna, you need to see the town clerk to get sworn in. Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All set? 6:35?
Yeah. Okay, 6:35, we have a public hearing, fuel license. Okay, thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This whole thing was letters of recommendation.
Whichever. Okay, fuel storage license, Noble Energy, 195 and 197 Charlton Road. Chase, do you want to read the public notice?
Yep. The Town of Sturbridge Board of Selectmen, in accordance with MGL Chapter 148, Section 13, hereby give notice that a public hearing will be held on Monday, November 1st, 2021, at 6:35 p.m. for the application of Noble Sturbridge LLC for a license for gas tanks with flammable materials located at 195 and 197 Charlton Road, Route 20, Sturbridge, Mass. 01566. The public hearing will take place at the Town Hall second floor, Veterans Memorial Hall, located at 308 Main Street, Sturbridge, Mass. 01566.
Okay,
Thank you.
good evening. Your name for the record, please?
My name is Jim Bernardino, CMG Engineering, with offices on Hall Road here in Sturbridge. Thank you. I'll make it quick. Many of you are aware, recently, project's been approved over on Route 20 for a convenience center store with gasoline dispensing facilities. It's a multi-use building, have a coffee shop, we'll have an ice cream store as well. Next door will be a electrical vehicle charging education center. But what we're here tonight to talk about is the underground fuel storage license. As part of the gas station component, there will be 3 underground fuel tanks comprising of approximately 40,000 gallons of regular gasoline underground and 20,000 gallons of diesel gasoline underground. Part of the application as well was on underground propane tanks. There'll be 2 underground propane tanks totaling 25,000 gallons, 1,000 gallon tank and 1 1,500 gallon tank. Additionally, there'll be approximately 200 gallons of propane containers being stored on the facility, which is going to be your Blue Rhino propane exchange type of service that'll be provided on the property. That pretty much is the summary of the application or the license that we're seeking this evening. With that, I'll just relay that we put together a very simple plan for the board to review, just so they have an understanding of where those underground tanks are going to be proposed or where they are proposed in relationship to the proposed building and facility. With that, I'll turn it over to the board for any comments or questions that you may have.
Okay, any questions or comments from the board?
Just on the LP storage, is that for heat, or are you going to be fueling vehicles with LP? Propane?
No, they'll be for heat.
Okay.
We have 2 separate tanks. One will be for heat and the mechanicals of the building. The other one, the smaller one, will be for the generator, emergency generator that'll be on the
I
site.
just didn't know if you were going for like a one-stop shop, every kind of fuel.
No,
All right.
and talk about hydrogen, that's going to be the
Yep.
next one too. So, no, that's not the intent here.
Thank you.
Okay, and this has been approved by the fire chief. It
Yes.
is a public hearing, so does anyone in the audience have questions or comments? Okay, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
I move to close the public hearing.
I'll second that.
Discussion? All in favor? Okay, thank you.
Need a vote to approve, please?
Yeah, I was just thinking.
Okay.
I thought it was good. He doesn't have
Yeah, I
to
can't
talk anymore. Okay, is there a motion then from the board?
I'll make a motion to approve the license for Noble Energy.
I'll second that.
Okay, do you want to put the amounts in? The 40,000 for gasoline and 20,000 diesel.
The 40,000 for gasoline and the 20,000 for diesel.
Okay, is there a second?
And the
Second.
propane, please.
2,700 propane.
2,700 on the propane.
Propane. Is there a second?
Yes.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good night. Okay, next we have department reports, water and sewer.
Be cool.
Shane had a personal issue, he could not appear this evening. We can have him back at the next meeting, or if you have any questions or concerns, I can reach out to him between now and then to answer your questions.
Hey, does anyone have any questions or concerns they would like Jeff to pass on? No, but we'll see him next time, right?
Yep. Next meeting or next scheduled appearance?
Well, if the board has any concerns, they can get it to you, and Shane can respond, so
Okay.
his next regular one.
Okay, thank
There
you.
didn't seem to be much outstanding. Okay, next, town administrator's report.
I will add one thing to the water and sewer. We are still in the process of designing the new pump station for Main Street, so you'll start to see information on that come back about that project. My report's in front of you this evening. I really don't have anything to add. The South Pond folks were very excited about the grant, so that will move forward. We'll get a formal notice and all the grant documents to the town from the state, and then treat the pond, so.
Okay, any questions on the grant?
Just one quick one. Do we know if Brookfield gave any money to it? I think that was part of the conversation.
Well, it's supposed to be, we asked
Yeah,
that before.
it was part of the grant that they were going to give some money. I can find out the amount.
Yeah, no, I was just curious. It doesn't.
Yeah, because I think the first time it went through, they didn't,
That's right.
a couple
Yeah.
of years ago.
That's why I asked. I don't-
I can find out. But that's it.
That's it. Any other questions on Jeff's report here? Okay, next we have action items. Consideration and possible action on the authorization to submit a staffing for adequate fire and emergency response grant for the Sturbridge Fire Department. Chief, would you like to speak to the subject, please?
Recently, I had a professional development program. I learned that FEMA is preparing to open up the SAFER grant in the near future. This year, unlike the previous grant that we received, there will be no requirement for a match from the town, meaning that the federal government will pay 100% of the salaries and benefits for the full 3-year grant period. The memo that I prepared offers some ideas of how to sustain those positions once the federal funding has lapsed. And I believe that these three positions are well needed. And I think that we probably can consider some alternatives in addition to those suggestions that I've already made. This approval tonight will just allow me to file the application. You will still have an opportunity to accept or deny the grant if one is awarded.
Okay, questions or comments from the board? Someone willing to make a motion then?
I will move to authorize the submission of the SAFER grant as requested.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Discussion? All in favor?
Thank you.
Okay, next we have a request for hawker and peddler license from Matthew Angel Soto, Trinity Solar. Is he here?
He was supposed to be. Is Matthew here? He is not.
What's the board's preference?
Because it's door to door, I wouldn't mind seeing him here.
I would agree with Chase.
Okay, so we can put it off till our next meeting. Because he's requesting all the way to July 1st, so
Okay,
plenty of time,
makes sense.
unless, of course, he shows up. Okay. Next, we have old business. COVID-19 update, Jeff.
Yeah, we're still working on the community survey. We hope to have that up online by the end of the week. Other than that, just waiting for possible booster clinics in the community. I know the senior center is working with eligible seniors to get registered for available boosters.
Right, Leslie did put out a call online.
Yep.
Okay, next under old business.
Is she hoping to have one at the senior center, like she did a vaccine, is that, or are they just going to do the scheduling?
She was talking about doing the scheduling for people.
But if an opportunity at the senior center arose, she'd probably take it.
Right, because things change. So.
Right. I will say that Walgreens seemed wide open in Sturbridge. I made an appointment for somebody, and it was available the next morning. So for those watching, Walgreens, I know, has openings all over the place for boosters, both the Pfizer and Moderna. I don't know about J&J, but I know those two, they have openings.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the Town of Charlton warehouse projects, we just...
Thank you, Madam Mayor and board members. On the dais this evening are two letters, a comment letter from the traffic engineer for 241 and a separate one for 53 Charlton Road. Also attached to each letter are the traffic analysis contained in either the final environmental impact statement or the draft environmental impact statement. Both traffic analysis state there's not a lot of mitigations for the unsignalized intersections in Sturbridge, and their level of service will be reduced in the event both these projects come online. In speaking with Art Krieger, our outside counsel on this today, he and his staff are reviewing those memos and will prepare comments for the board to submit by the November 8th deadline. So what I would say is in the next few days you'll see a draft letter from my office requesting the chair to sign, but you'll get a chance to review it before it's signed and sent off. He's going to focus on a couple of things in the letter, the traffic, of course, and then the issue of the greenhouse gases and the climatary issues that are contained in the EISs.
Okay, questions from the board?
But we have a deadline of November 8th to get the comments in.
Okay. Be fun reading. Okay, now you also have this change order with associated...
Yeah, I'm sorry, there are two additional agenda items. A change order for the projects on the town properties, change order of roughly $5,000. $10,000 was approved at the most recent town meeting. Total original contract amount was roughly $165,000. They had to delay the project by several months due to weather and environmental conditions, so we're asking to approve the change order so they can get started.
Any questions from the board? Someone willing to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the change order.
I'll second that.
Okay, for
For the
$4,009.
$4,979.04 for the outbuilding removal project at Lead Mine Haynes property.
Okay, Chase, is your second still good?
Still good.
Okay, discussion? All in favor? Okay,
I'm surprised.
And then acceptance of a resignation from Darcy, I don't have the last name.
Foley.
Foley.
Darcy Foley for the Trails Committee.
Okay, is there a motion to that effect?
I will move to accept the resignation of Darcy Foley from the Trails Committee.
Is there a second?
I'll second that. Oh, go ahead.
No, you got it.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, discussion? All in favor? Okay, so that's another one we can put up and
There's a associate member or an auxiliary member that they're looking to
guns
elevate,
to move up.
and that'll be on your next agenda.
Okay,
Great.
sounds good. Any other old business? Ian?
No, ma'am.
Chase?
I was kind of hoping that we could put discussion about the parking lot on Main Street maybe on the next agenda with some information with the money that we had towards it, because I know town meeting spoke, and obviously we want, fully respect that outcome, but the fact of the matter is there's a vacant lot now in our business district, and we got to kind of figure out about moving forward what we're going to do, so.
Right.
I totally agree. It's going to be a real eyesore.
Yeah.
Unless we come up with something.
Yeah.
Maybe a cheaper alternative to the parking lot.
Well, I personally think on that level, and I mentioned it to Jeff, that I don't believe there was enough information put out. We didn't have details on why it would cost. So one of the people who spoke against it was comparing it to a driveway, and it wasn't. And then another person who spoke against it was talking about, what the devil was it?
Gravel.
Yeah,
Gravel,
gravel.
which is,
Yeah, we can't do.
can't go there. So I think if we get the correct information, the choice will be a better vote.
Okay.
So we can put it on the
Yeah.
agenda.
And we've got to pay prevailing wage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, and we what?
We have to pay prevailing wage,
Oh, prevailing wage, right.
and the Conservation Commission requirements were extensive due to its proximity to the river.
Okay, any other old business, Chase?
No.
Mary?
Most people know, but I got a lot of emails today. So we were notified by our town administrator that the Equestrian Center's application before the Gaming Commission was withdrawn. And my understanding from our memo from our TA is that there is no public hearing before the Gaming Commission on Wednesday evening. It was scheduled for Burgess.
Right, we
So-
mentioned that at the beginning of the meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry, it was just
Yeah.
spacing. I apologize. Well, for anyone who didn't listen in the beginning, you heard it again.
She's reiterating.
Sorry about that.
No, that's why we took it off the agenda when I read the agenda.
Oh, when you said it then, when you
Yeah,
took it off the agenda? Okay.
They formally withdrew the...
Okay, I don't have any other old business.
Jamie?
Nope, nothing.
Jeff, I just had that question on the public hearing for the Deep Roots Distillery. I'm going to check into it.
Yes, they will need a public hearing, and we're setting that up for your next meeting.
Okay, thank you. Because on new licenses. Okay. New business. Jamie?
No new business.
Mary?
No.
I have no new.
And I have none. Correspondence, Chase?
Yep. Board of Selectmen's Office correspondence dated meeting November 1st, 2021. October 20th, 2021. Email from Deborah Wagner, DLS to Sturbridge and other towns in the regional school district dated October 20th, 2021. Subject, excess and deficiency, Tantascwa. October 22, 2021. Letter from Mark Pomprian to Mary Blanchard and the Board of Selectmen dated October 22nd, 2021. October 27, 2021, letter from David Eaton, First Selectman, Town of Union, Connecticut, to the Sturbridge Board of Selectmen and Sturbridge Planning Board, dated October 27, 2021. October 28, 2021, press release, Baker Polito Administration announces grants to support waterway pollution control projects.
Okay, anyone else have any?
I do. I don't...
Mary?
I was sent a letter by the contact form by a resident on Seneca Lane. She asked me to share the letter with the board. I have since called her because inadvertently I think I deleted it. So I'm going to ask her to send it again so I can share it with the board. It was her support for the vote that was taken on Thursday and comments about what Sturbridge means to her and quality of life. But it was a long letter, and again, I don't want you to think I'm bringing it up next week. I should have brought it up today, and when she sends it back to me, I'll just forward it along.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else have any? Okay, approval of minutes. We have minutes of the 18th. Does anyone have any corrections, deletions? Jeff, I give you credit for getting all this. However, I know we've run...
Oh, there it is, however. There it is. My city clerk days were a long time ago.
No, not with you, but for Michelle's benefit. We're getting into that rut again where our minutes look like a transcript.
Well, I did that on the negotiation piece,
Yeah.
just so we
Yeah.
captured the essence.
Okay, because we really don't. I mean, we need motions.
I understand. I just thought
Who
that was
voted?
important to,
Sweet, yes. No, that one was a little bit important. Okay, does anyone have any corrections?
Well,
Mary?
at the risk, I know she was very detailed, but I'm just going to add one sentence. I thought they were excellent, but on page 129, when we're talking about comments about the draft host agreement,
What paragraph?
the third paragraph, the initial payment of $300 is also very low. I'd like to add, she also indicated that there were no terms about commencement date for construction. She also indicated that there were no terms about commencement date for construction.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, motion to approve is amended.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Discussion? All in favor? Okay, next we have citizens forum.
Hi, Joanna Shapiro, 50 Westwood Drive. I just wanted to sort of come up and just explain why there was a lot of buzz in the community about concern over Wednesday's public hearing before the Mass Gaming Commission. And I just wanted to clarify, you know, the motion at the Board of Selectmen hearing, I believe Chase made, was very clear in that the approval of the location for the racetrack was conditional on the zoning bylaw change. That somehow didn't make it at all into the application to the Gaming Commission, and that really left the town open to a major loophole that the applicant could have taken advantage of. And, you know, in the Board of Selectmen's letter, that also went along with that application, that again wasn't specified. So the state law, how I understand it, is once the location's approved, that's sort of it. And if it's not clear to the Gaming Commission that there's conditions, they might not recognize those. So it's just something concerning. I'm elated to hear that they've chosen to withdraw their application. So there's not cause for concern anymore, but I was hoping, rather than it completely coming off the agenda tonight, that there might be some clarification for the record, just if there was any doubt that that site location, you know, the conditions of that approval weren't met. It didn't achieve the zoning change. So therefore, not only did they withdraw their application, but the Board of Selectmen's approval of the location is null and void at this point.
Well, it's null and void because the overlay district did not pass, so it can't go there. And there is no other land in town zoned to allow horse racing. Therefore, we cannot have horse racing in town. The particular piece of property is still rural residential, and by right and by special permit, there are several things that can go there. And I really would advise people to read the zoning bylaws, and they wouldn't be getting so upset about this can go there, that can go there, and it can't.
Yeah.
You know, our whole town is zoned, and it's not allowed anywhere. So.
Can I just?
Mary?
Joanna, thank you. That was a very good point, and I had tended to bring it up as well. I have a little bit of a cold, so I'm not on my game as well. But that letter for residents, anybody that looked at that application, the letter that said it was an approval, I know we had written and clarified that it was a 3-2 vote, but more importantly, it was a conditional approval, not just with respect to the overlay, but I believe it was 2 conditions, also the signing of a host agreement. So I believe that, you know, Chase made the motion, and I think Mary said, don't forget the 2 conditions.
Yeah.
So even that letter should have said a conditional approval, subject to the overlay district being adopted and subject to the signing of a host agreement. So there were 2 attached to that. It should have gone to our attorney, and he indicated that he hadn't seen it till after it was filed. So, you know, it's difficult. Our council should see that, and he should want to see something that goes into an application like that, and that probably would have been caught. But thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, that was my main concern just going forward. That just seems like an important thing. And I know the board had wanted to review that application and hadn't had the opportunity. I think that's about all I wanted to talk about. Oh, and about, well, since I'm up here anyway, about the parking lot, I was kind of shocked that it didn't pass, but I do think that a lot of the concerns were about, you know, what pot of money the funding would come from, and maybe if someone from Trails or Conservation were to come up and explain that this is going to connect, because my understanding is it would also help connect Trails, and that Conservation had specific concerns. I don't know if it was just late in the night and whoever was left didn't want to spend any more money, but I think it'd be worth putting back on there. And
it does have approval through the Conservation Commission. It has 2 approvals, which was mentioned at the meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but
and
maybe
the money was right in the article, free cash.
No, I think what Joanna means is an explanation, and I think Jeff agreed, from Conservation as to why it costs so much, given the conditions that they impose.
That would come from DPW more than...
from whomever.
Well, the details, we need the breakup.
Well, better public communication leading into the next one.
That's all it takes.
Yeah, I just meant if maybe Trails could speak to the value of it, and Conservation could speak to that they required those special stormwater best management practices to protect the water course and all that, that it might go a long way but I wouldn't give up on, on paving that. We've already purchased it and permitted it. It seems worth trying again with some more explanation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Joanna.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, we do have a request for executive session.
Chase was the bathroom.
Yeah. Do you want to read it, Ian?
Yep.
Please.
If I may, once we go into executive session, I'm going to close this meeting and open a new one, and then we'll have to clear the room.
Yes.
Okay.
Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, this meeting will be conducted in person and via, oh, that's the wrong one. There it is. This is my job. Chase, come do your job.
Yeah, all right.
That's right. That's on the agenda.
All right, executive session per MGL C30A, Section 21, to discuss the reputation, character, physical condition, or mental health rather than professional competence of an individual, or discuss the discipline or dismissal of, or complaints or charges against a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual.
And we will not reconvene in open session.
And we will not reconvene in open session.
Okay, is there a second to the motion?
I can second that. I can do that part.
Okay. Ian, how do you vote?
Yes.
Jace?
Yes.
Mary?
I'm actually going to recuse myself as a neutral. I don't get involved in this type of thing because I wouldn't be able to do what I do for a living.
Okay.
Maybe.
Jamie?
I vote no closed session. I'm closed session.
Sorry, you have a thick mask.
Oh, I vote.
And I vote yes.
Okay, give me a few minutes.
Mhm.
And
This conference is no longer being recorded.